Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is your host Majestic speaking with another episode of MechWarrior Online here. And today is a special edition of MechWarrior because we're going to be going through the Stormcrow Hero Lacerator. Now, I was finally able to scrape up some cash to do this review for you guys, and I'm very excited about it, especially because the Stormcrow is one of my favorite chassis in the entire game. Now, you know, I love these mechs and all, but I do have to be 100% honest with you guys by the end of this video so that you know whether or not it's actually worth going out and purchasing for yourselves. Just a few words for you guys before we actually dive into the build and then into the rounds of gameplay. This is a completely mastered mech. I have all of my Stormcrow chassis mastered because of the fact that I just love playing with this mech. Now, I do have a custom loadout on here. It is Frankenstein-y, built the way I would actually like to play it out there on the battlefield, so it is completely custom. Omnipods and everything are switched out to my liking, so I'm going to show you, but I'm also going to keep some of the essentials that cater specifically to the Lacerator in particular, so that you guys can see, you know, where the differences lie if you would like to mix and match with how you like to run your Stormcrows, and whether or not you actually want to add this to your arsenal. So, first and foremost, let's dive into the build. Now, I'm going to go straight to the mech lab so that you guys can see exactly what I did. We have no quirks or anything to deal with. I'm just going to show you the loadout for what it is. So, first and foremost, we did leave some of the Lacerator Omnipods on there. As you can see, we have the Lacerator left arm and right arm. But where it differs is up here, the head and the left torso. And I wanted to make it balanced as much as I possibly could. And what we have here is the only variant. Now, the Lacerator, it's unique in the fact that it's the only variant that can boast 2 ballistic hardpoints. And that's because of the fact that, as you can see here on the right arm, the Lacerator is the only one that can boast 1 ballistic hardpoint. So only if you have this variant will you be able to actually mount a ballistic weapon on the right arm. As for the left arm, you have a couple of options. You have the B variant, the C variant, and the Lacerator variant that can also use a ballistic hardpoint. Now, the Stormcrows are not known for using ballistic hardpoints by any means, and that's pretty much standard. You can argue that point, you know, to anyone, because they know that the Stormcrow is mostly known for its either missile boating or laser boating. You have the Splat Crow, the Street Crow, the Party Crow. They all cater towards boating those either energy or missile hardpoints. But this is unique in that it's the only variant that can actually run more than 1 ballistic hardpoint. So I do give it a little bit of credit there, although the Stormcrow is not known for that. So what I placed on here were 2 LB5Xs. I did place 2 UAC 5s on there, and because these arms are a little low mounted, the trajectory and everything is a little off, and you really have to do a lot of face timing. I mean, you're going to have to do face time anyway, but to get, you know, those 3 shells, those burst fire rounds going off, and get a constant stream going towards your opponents, you really kind of have to hang out there in the middle of the open for a little bit in order to make sure that all of your shots not only, you know, actually get fired, but if you want to make sure that they actually hit the mech and make sure that your trajectory is right, it's just not as feasible or as useful as I thought with LB5Xs. So that's just my personal take on there. I was able to fit 3 tons of ammo, so not a ton of ammo, but with the right torso, head, and left torso, I left the Lacerator right torso because it did boast that 1 energy hardpoint. The only variant that has an energy hardpoint in the head is the Prime variant. So I did switch out that Omnipod, and then I took the C variant's left torso, because the Lacerator's left torso doesn't give us anything. All it has is AMS, and really, I'm not going to use that. So the C variant was the best option for us because we wanted to keep it as balanced as we possibly could. So by having 3 medium lasers, 1 on the head, 1 on each torso, then the 2 LB5Xs on each arm, you know, it was a very balanced approach to this mech. So I did want to integrate some unique points that the Lacerator offers, but also configure it towards, you know, some other stuff that you can configure it with that makes use and optimizes the other hardpoints that are available in some of the other variants. So that's why you're seeing it the way that it is. With this loadout in particular, we have all 55 out of 55 tons being used. We have 65 out of 78 slots being used. 364 out of 370 armor. I took 6 armor hardpoints out of the head. 1.21 is the heat management, and that is with 12 double heat sinks. So I did place 2 on there externally. There are 10 in the engine. None that were pre-configured on the mech by any means. So it's... the heat management is there. It does meet my minimum threshold of 1.2. But the heat dissipation might become a factor here. And I know you guys might be thinking, well, why not do, you know, the smalls or small pulse lasers, work with some heat, you know, some double heat sinks and make your heat management more efficient and put on some double heat sinks. It's because I wanted to take a mid-range approach. I didn't want to necessarily make this a skirmish brawler, strictly from the standpoint that, you know, the Stormcrow is great in that it has a ton of speed to work with. You have 104.5 kph to work with from a mastered perspective, but everyone knows the Stormcrow in that role. To have that Street Crow, the Party Crow, the Splat Crow, whatever you decide to take out, it's all very short range. So I did want to mix it up for you a little bit because those are already offered. You can already make those mechs and you don't have to spend real money. Or, you know, if these do come out for MC at some point, you won't be having to spend real money on that either. So with this kind of build, you're getting the mid-range approach, and that's what I was going for. So hopefully it gives you a different perspective in that capacity. Now the firepower on here, we only have a 31-point alpha, but again, it is completely mastered. We did meet our minimum heat management threshold. We're filling out all of the tonnage, and we put on a custom loadout that, again, it takes into consideration some unique points about the Lacerator and also mixes in some other omnipods from the other mechs to make this very balanced and efficient in optimizing the rest of this mech's components. So let's check out the modules now. As for the modules, you're only offered one mech and one weapon module, and then one mech weapon module. So you kind of have to pick and choose which ones you want to do. As for me, I went through for advanced seismic sensor and radar deprivation. I wanted to take into consideration 2 mech modules, and then for weapon modules, I wanted to only factor in the LB5Xs. So I went with the LB5X cooldown. That gives me a 12% cooldown. And with the mech modules in there, I just felt that, again, from a medium range perspective, you're not only, you know, able to sense any mechs that come within 250 meters of you, but if we are targeted from long range, we can dip into cover. And the Stormcrow is not known for being an extremely tanky mech. So we're not going to want to take a lot of heavy fire from our opponents. As for the weapon module, I wanted to utilize the ballistics as much as I possibly could. As I said before, everyone likes to boat those lasers on there, but as for ballistics, you don't see it. You don't have a dual ballistic Stormcrow anywhere else in the battlefield except if you're utilizing the Lacerator or the Lacerator's Omnipods on another configuration. So I wanted to make sure that if I am going to use dual ballistics, that I take advantage of it and obviously cater to the ballistic mounts that I placed on there with the LB5Xs, which is what you're seeing here. As for the consumables, we have a Cool Shot 9x9 and the improved artillery strike. I wanted to do the Cool Shot 9x9 obviously to increase the heat efficiency even more, and if we do get hot or anything, hopefully avoid as much as possible from overheating. And for the improved artillery strike, obviously just to, you know, hopefully either put some extra damage down on our opponents, help get my team into a better position if we do need to, you know, move across open terrain and just kind of use it as suppressive fire or as a distraction for our opponents. So that's really the logic and the reasoning behind this entire build. But now I think it's about that time that we actually hit the battlefield. So let's go through maybe 2, maybe even 3 rounds of gameplay, just so you guys can see this mech from a couple different perspectives, and if it actually fits into how you actually want to configure your Stormcrows, and if it actually falls into how you actually, your style of play, and how you actually want to perform. So let's take it to the battlefield and see how we do. Here we go. Alrighty guys, here we go. First round is going to take place on the Mining Collective, a heat-neutral map that's definitely more short range than anything. Now we're going to stick to our mid-range role, especially given the loadout, as I mentioned before, but we're just going to have to pick and choose our spots. We might have to move in a little close at times. We might be able to get some damage in from a distance. So we're just going to have to see how it pans out. But first things first is we have to recognize that we are playing Assault game mode. So we're going to take a glimpse at the top. We're going to have to keep our eye on the opponent's base as well, and just see if we do wind up doing a base push, if we can be in the vicinity to help out. So first things first, we're going to peek above the top, just check out our surroundings, see if we can see any of our opponents within the vicinity. And looking first glimpse, we don't have anything, but here comes a Warhawk across the screen. It looks like he's moving rather quickly, and out from the other side comes a Night Gear, and it looks like he's a Pop-Tart Night Gear. Dual PPCs is the first initial thing that I can say about his loadout. He is getting some artillery fire, which is going to make me back up just a little bit. It's not a huge spray of missiles, but enough to get me to at least be a little bit more cautious. Now, we are putting down some damage continuously on this Night Gear. Looks like we have some support atop the platform, and we're just going to keep peeking our head above, maybe getting some quick shots here and there. Maybe if he diverts his attention, we'll get some more damage off, but it looks like he might have ducked into cover. Now, he does have a light mech out here with him, and it looked like he just skirted across the screen really quick. Yeah, there it is, an Arctic Cheetah. So he's trying to run back into cover. He's going to get some spray damage down on me. But I'm going to stick to my guns. I have that Ebb and Jag that's with me now. We're moving up pretty quickly. We have a Huntsman in the distance there, Gamma. And it looks like he's got a cord left torso already. So we're actually going to be able to put some damage down on him and maybe get that torso off. But it looks like he was able to duck back into cover quick enough. So we're just going to stick to our guns. I'm looking up on the platform. It looks like they're doing a counter rotation onto us. That Arctic Cheetah came back, and he was putting some damage into my back left torso. So I'm going to have to be mindful of where he moves about, but it looks like he skirted off as well. Keeping an eye on that counter rotation on the mini-map, just making sure that we're not really getting ourselves into too much trouble here, sticking around on the front lines. So my team was able to get into the rotation quicker than they were, so we're able to put down some damage on the back end of their rotation. Because of the fact that they actually do have me targeted at this point, my first priority is again to get back into cover. So first things first, I'm going to get some cover before we actually start making any more moves, but they did leave someone behind up here. They have an Enforcer up on the wall. Charlie here has no idea that we came in on the flank. He was focused on one of our friendlies, so we're able to get some free damage down on him, and we got the assist. We got the most damage that was dealt on him, but my friend was able to clean it up. Good on our part. So at this point, it's now 5-3. We're starting to get the pressure on them. We do have the advantage on the high ground, and we are more into our rotation than they are into their rotation. So we're going to put down some damage on this Mauler. We have some friendlies that are able to focus in on him, able to take him down very, very quickly. So there he goes. That's huge because we took out one of their assaults, so we don't have to deal with any unnecessary damage from him. We have a Tempest that we're going to focus in on now, just constantly putting down some fire from mid-range. He is at perfect distance for me. For both my medium lasers and those LB5Xs, we're able to put some damage down on him. He is overheated, and we're just going to constantly lay into him. There he is. He's cored completely, and my team, again, is able to clean it up. So there we go. 7-4 at this point. Now 8-4 actually, so we did get another kill there. 9-4, so we're able to clean up a little bit more. Now we have a 5-point advantage. That Spider's checking us out. We have a Timberwolf over here, and it looks like a Trebuchet going along with him. So we're going to focus in on the Timberwolf. He is the biggest threat. He's actually in the Timberwolf Hero, the Warrant, so we're able to focus in on him. And unfortunately, we overheated, but it looks like he overheated too, so my teammates are actually going to come in and help me out. I amplify that damage on him, and Kappa right there will warrant. Come on, baby, get him down. Core torso, there he goes. The center torso finally pops. We did happen to overheat again. Now we have this little pesky Spider to worry about. He ran around the other side, and it looks like he's coming in from another flank, but it looks like we legged him, so it's only a matter of time now. He's able to completely core my center torso. I am cherry red at this point, just the Trebuchet left. So now we're going to focus in on him, Foxtrot, and finally we do wind up cleaning up everyone. So that is the end of the round. 12-4 is your final score. Man, that escalated very quickly at the end, but let's see what we did here. 0 kills, but 11 assists. We were the help this round. 513 damage. Pretty even across the board. Pretty solid round overall from a short-range perspective, but now let's move on to the next one. Alrighty guys, here we go. Second round, we're taking it to the extreme. I look back on some of my older videos and I realized I don't have any gameplay footage on Terra. So I figured, you know what, now is the perfect opportunity to do so and take it into an extreme temperature environment so you guys know how this thing can handle the heat. Now again, we are playing assault game mode, so we do have to keep our eyes up at the top and see how that tab is moving, if it's in our favor or against us. Now, if they do start capping our base, this is a bigger map, and with me having 105 kph, I'm sure that there will be some reliance on me to return back and help defend the base. So we do have to keep that in mind now, whereas on Mining Collective, it was a lot shorter distance that we would have had to travel, so there wasn't that much reliance there. But we do have to keep our eyes up there just in case. There are multiple things that we're going to have to focus on this round. But first things first, we're just going to try and peek up and peer over the top and, you know, get some early damage in on some of our opponents here. The Shadow Cat looks like he's just a silhouette at that distance. He's going to put down some long-range artillery fire on us, but we matrix out of the way, so we're able to avoid all of the artillery fire, thank God. We have Bravo there behind one of the rock formations, and he looks like he has some help over there, so we're going to stick our ground over here. It's one zip for them, so they did get an early kill on us. It probably might have been one of our scouts, if I had to guess. A lot of lerms flying in, though. Again, we see another silhouette popping up in the distance, so we are able to get some early damage down on him as well. Again, trying to play that mid-range approach. Sorry, I clicked off the screen there for a second. But now we're back, and we're just doing a little bit of surveillance, seeing exactly what's going on. We have an Atlas over here. We are not part of the tip of the spear, but he certainly is, so we're going to amplify whatever kind of damage he's putting down. Looks like we have some enemy assaults that are peering over the top of this ramp near the platform, near that bridge. And so we're just going to keep skirting away from the issue, not getting a lot of face time, but putting down some peripheral kind of damage is what I like to call it. And this Black Knight looks like he's trying to turn away, and we get the kill. Oh my gosh, he must have been wrecked, and it must have been an XL engine too, because that's very early in the match, especially for a Black Knight to get taken out. Now we're going to focus in on this Arctic Cheetah here. We're putting down some damage on him, and there is the burn duration and those LB5Xs that get us the kill. Moving on to the next target, though, we have the Stalker in front of us. It looks like my entire team is focusing in on him. Even though he's trying to get into retreat, it doesn't look like the rest of his team is going to help him out. We're constantly getting a stream of damage on him now. He has a cord left torso, and the rest of his body is at least amber. So now we're just going to constantly focus in and get that magnification damage on him. So we're going to focus in, all guns blazing now, even if that means overheating at this point. My entire team is focused on him. And even though we overheated, my team does get the kill. So although they started off at a 1-0 advantage, it is now 5-2. And now we have a Locust that is distracting the crap out of this Direwolf, and he is left by himself. Cord his back, and we're able to get the kill shot on him. That was huge. So because of the most annoying light mech in the game, that Locust was able to divert his attention entirely, and my team was able to eat up that Direwolf. 100 tons is off their team. It is now 7-2. And that we have a Learnboat Stormcrow in front of us. It looks like he is in full retreat at this point, just trying to get out of harm's way. He knows that the Wrecking Ball is coming through the building, ladies and gentlemen. And now we're focusing up on a different target. Looks like he was able to dip behind one of the other rock formations. So now we're going to focus up on this Panther and another Stormcrow? Or is that the same Stormcrow from before? I'm not really sure, but it looks like both of them are diving into cover on the right side of the map. So we're going to have to be careful, keep our eyes peeled that way. There are 5 of them left. And okay, there's the first Stormcrow. So there's the Learnboat Stormcrow, so it was a second Stormcrow. So we do have to keep our eyes peeled. And oh, jeez. Oh my gosh, that scared the crap out of me. Sorry, teammate. I did not mean to put down the team damage. You just scared me. I thought you were that Stormcrow coming back. But now we're focusing in 11-2 at this point. So those other 3 guys were taken out. Now we're down to the final kill here is going to be on this Night Gear. Looks like he is just trying to get away from everything at this point. We're out of LB5X ammo, and my team is able to wrap it up. So there goes the second round, this time in extreme conditions on Terra. That was a ton of fun. We managed the heat pretty well, despite this being the most extreme environment in the game. 3 kills, 7 assists, 631 damage with 8 components destroyed. So definitely an upgrade from the last round, even despite the harsher conditions. So we did post close to the top of the leaderboards, but I do owe my team a ton of credit. Excellent teamwork, great focus fire, but I'm still not satisfied. I feel like we deserve one more round of gameplay, so let's hop back into the queue and see how we do. Here we go. Alrighty guys, here we go. Third and final round is going to take place on Caustic Valley. So another heat-intensive map. So you know for sure that if you can manage your heat between Terra Therma last round and now Caustic Valley this round, you're doing a pretty decent job with your heat management. Now, we are playing Domination game mode, so as you can see, I'm starting the recording about a minute into the game at this point. And, you know, we do have to capture the circle. We have to stay in the circle, or at least have someone in the circle, or be firing in on anyone on their side that's in the circle. So, a lot of different moving parts here. We do want to play a little bit of scout mode here, but we also want to make sure that we're focusing up on our opponents and making sure that we know where their movements are, we can see what they're doing. And again, a lot of the focal point, especially in Caustic Valley, despite it being a domination, is usually around the caldera regardless. So, from this perspective, noticing that, you know, there's going to be a greater intensity around the caldera even more than there already is on this map. That's just how it's going to pan out. So we do have to keep our attention in multiple different directions. Just keep checking. But over here in the distance, as you can see, we have a Warhawk and a Kodiak. Looks like they have both disconnected. Not only that, but it looks like their team left them as well. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm only going to focus up on their back armor. I am not going to farm any damage because I want this to be a true representation of how I would actually shoot at these mechs if they were, you know, still alive. So I'm going to go for the easy, quick kills that just give me the minimal amount of damage that I can farm off these guys in the sequence that I would normally fire them. So as you can see here, I did overheat, but we are going to get the 2 kills accredited for us here. We're coring up their backs, but again, I'm cycling through my weapons as an accurate representation of how I would fire them if these mechs were still alive. So I don't want to rip anyone off and thinking that there's more damage that could be had or less damage, because obviously I could have just sat there in their center torsos and just kept firing my LB5s or something like that to get the most damage out of them. Now, in regrouping back with the rest of my team, I'm noticing that we're a little scattered across the map at this point. So we're going to have to focus up, hopefully head towards the middle and get some new targets that everyone can focus up, amplify the damage on any remaining, you know, mechs that might be circling around the caldera that aren't in the caldera, wherever they're hiding. But first things first, what we're going to do is group up with this Hunchback that's in front of us, and we also have a Viper that's coming in from the right side of the map as well. And we're focusing up on this Adder right now. It looks like he's pretty badly beat up. He's got a third of his loadout that has been destroyed. Looks like he has a medium laser and a flamer left. And yeah, he's focusing up on me, but I'm going to use an LB5X because he's cored and we take him out of the battle. So that is another quick kill for us. We're going to focus on the next target, though. We have to keep moving. Foxtrot, this direwolf, is right in front of us. Now, they are down 2 assault mechs. That doesn't mean that they can't come back from that. But because of the fact that I have some friendlies here, we're going to group up on this 3rd assault mech. And I'm not going to be too afraid to rear my ugly head again and get some extra damage down on this guy. Looks like he has his focus turned again, so I have this Hunchback with me. That Viper is behind the rock with him as well, and we're just going to put in some damage on his backside now that he has his focus on that gridiron. So this is just some extra amplification damage that we're able to put down. And now that that Hunchback has completely got out of the way, he is turning his attention towards me now. He put a Gauss rifle round into my chest, and he's going for me again. So here comes another round. There's a second Gauss rifle round into my chest. He's still moving. He's still kicking towards us. Puts another Gauss rifle round into my right torso, and our friend the Stalker is able to finally clean him up. So there he goes. We have a Hellbringer loyalty variant coming around the side here that we're going to have to focus up on really quick. So here he comes. He is going to focus up on me, but fortunately for us, he does overheat, so we're able to core him out completely with our friends. And there he finally goes. He just popped from his center torso. Turning to the next target immediately, we have Gamma here. This Ebon Jaguar is just popping in and out from that caldera. Looks like he went back in, but we do have some friendlies around with us. This Raven is able to get the final kill shot on him, so there he goes. Now we're focusing up on the next target that's in front of us, this Raven, but he's going to pop in behind one of the other rock formations, so we're going to go around the other way. I'm looking down on the minimap. We do have some support that's flying in from some of our friendlies. This Shadowhawk with the AAA AC2 loadout looks like he's got his sights set on taking out one of my friendlies. So I'm going to move in and try and help him out as best I can. He is firing off those AC2s, trying to get the angle on him, but again, they're all torso-mounted lasers, so I can't get that extreme angle on him. I'm going to have to change targets to this Raven because it looks like he dipped into cover. This Raven and I are just going to try and duke it out as best we can. His back is cored. That's what I'm going to aim for if I can. He's going to swing around and try and get some damage in on my leg. Try and core off my leg, but it looks like some of my friends are trying to help me out as well, and I'm trying to protect that leg. So I did turn to the right, but unfortunately I did overheat. He's still putting some damage down on me. My friend was able to take him out, so now there's only one guy left, I believe, and it's that Shadowhawk. He is still alive. Alpha is still kicking, and he is in full swing. He's just firing off those AC2s, but finally we're able to clean him up. So there he goes, and there goes the end of the round. A fantastic way to end this video. Let's see what we racked up for the final score here. We got 3 kills, 5 assists, 762 damage, and 5 components destroyed. But now let's head back to the garage for some final thoughts. Alrighty guys, so now that we're back in the garage, just some final thoughts on the mech before we actually close out the video. So for the Lacerator as a mech, I love the fact that PGI did integrate a dual ballistic variant for the Stormcrow. I think that's very unique. It's interesting. It definitely makes this particular variant stand apart from the rest of the variants that you have to offer in the game that are currently there. But from a logistical standpoint, first of all, the Stormcrow, again, is not known for its ballistic mounts. It's purely based off dipping in, dipping out of situations, and as you can see, I really had to expose and kind of leave myself there for, you know, even a half second or a second longer than you otherwise normally would with either energy or missile weapons, which are just pretty much, you know, you shoot them and you dip in and dip out of your position. That's really what the Stormcrow you should be using your Stormcrows for. So it's not known for the ballistics. I love the unique aspect of it that PGI integrated, but for me personally, and I love the Stormcrow, it's my favorite clan medium chassis in the entire game. I absolutely love it. But for me, even knowing that I love this chassis so much, I do not think it is worth the $15 of hard cash just to get this particular variant with a custom paint job and a 30% C-bill bonus. It just doesn't make sense to go out and purchase. So I hope that this review was informative for you guys. You know, to sit here and say, you know, you should definitely go get the Lacerator. It's a fantastic mech. Yeah, it's decent. I think at best we could say it's decent if we were to integrate the unique hard points that this mech has to offer with those 2 ballistics in the arms. But then for the rest of it, you're utilizing the other variants. You're utilizing other variants of the Stormcrow for those Omnipods to cater and optimize to those, you know, the right torso, the left torso, and the head. If we look actually at what the other stock Omnipods have to offer, you know, if we look at the Lacerator head, it's not giving us anything. If we look at the right torso, we already have that on there, and we only get that 1 energy hardpoint. We can use the AMS hardpoint if we want. Not really beneficial though. For the Stormcrow, as you can see where these mounts are, you want to utilize as much weapon space as you possibly can. You're right next to the cockpit and utilizing each of these 2 torsos. So you know, I could use the C variant if I just want that energy hardpoint. Yes, this gives us the AMS hardpoint, but obviously as you can see here, we're not even using it. So as for me, you know, the C variant could do the job. You throw the C variants, you know, your right torso on there, and you don't have anything different. As for the left torso, we have the left torso here for the Lacerator. All it offers, again, is another AMS hardpoint. So I don't know about you, but I've never seen one or a dual AMS Stormcrow out there on the battlefield. With this thing going 105 kph, if we round up, you're not really going to get yourself into too many pickles getting under, you know, long-range suppressive artillery LRM fire. It's just not really that common. That's just simply how it's put for the game. So if we look at it from that perspective, the AMS hardpoints are not adding any benefit. If we look at the right and left arm, that's where the unique hardpoints for this mech come from, is that the right arm is what we're looking at here. None of the other variants offer that ballistic hardpoint, whereas in the left arm, we do have the B variant, we do have the C variant, and the Lacerator that do offer us that 1 ballistic hardpoint. So really, Would you want to spend $15 just to get this Omnipod on a mech that really isn't known for utilizing ballistics? And even with the ballistics, you can see they're not as optimal as some of the other builds. Whether it's a meta build or another customized build that you guys might want to integrate, it's just not as feasible as some of the other ones that are already out there that you can get, that you can currently purchase for C-builds, which technically are free if you want to grind it out. So for me personally, I love the Stormcrow chassis. Again, it is my favorite clan medium chassis, but I do not think it is actually worth going out and purchasing the hero variant simply for that ballistic hardpoint, the custom paint, the 30% C-build bonus. It just doesn't make sense. So I hope for you guys this was informative. I really enjoyed doing this video. I loved messing around with it. I'm glad that I was able to do this review for you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Please feel free to leave any comments, questions, concerns, or suggestions in the comment section below. I love reading them all, and if I can, I will make sure that I respond to as many as I possibly can. Feel free to also check out all the links in the description if you do want to support the channel, you know, with a monetary donation to Patreon or through PayPal. I really do appreciate all the support that you guys have given thus far. But even just you checking out the video for itself, I appreciate everything that you guys have given to me at this point. And I love the fact that we could start off 2017, hopefully with a little bit of a review for you guys. So hopefully this was beneficial for you guys. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. I really do appreciate everything that you guys have given me from last year into this year. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next one. Take care, guys.